Elemental Shaman Midnight Rework. What's up guys, Petko here. I know alpha is already close to being over and it's been 6 weeks of testing and I'm finally ready to talk about Ele Shaman and exactly what has changed, what will change, what are things to pay attention, is the spec fun, is it gonna become easier, yada yada yada. I'm gonna try to break down to you under 10 minutes. So pay attention, listen carefully and ask any questions if you have at the end of the video. Alright, so first of all, class 3, yes, minor changes done to the class 3. Two very important changes here. First, you're gonna have much easier time to access utility depending on the dungeon or rate you're playing. Second, two new cool talents. The first one, wind shear rework. I think wind shear rework is gonna be interesting for you, Mythic Plus, because it's gonna give you a chance to lock your target for 2 seconds longer, which obviously is a massive improvement, depending on the dungeons you're playing. And second one is gonna be wind veil. Every time you use your interrupt and that interrupt is successful, you're going to be getting a 15% spell damage DR. Now, previously, you were taking damage reduction based on the amount of spell you were interrupting. If I interrupt Shadow Spell, I get Shadow Spell DR, and that was stuck in twice. Now you get all spell DR, but it doesn't stuck. Okay, however, because it's like for 12 seconds, you can pretty much refresh it permanently. That's pretty good. And second good change here is gonna be the Lightning Shield gives you 3% baseline intellect. So every time you have Lightning Shield, you're gonna get more intellect, which is a massive W. Also, Cast Lightning Shield now gives you Earth Shield. Again, Earth Shield is absolutely useless. I think it's one thing that I've already spoken to this. They should have made Earth Shield give you some sort of damage reduction, just like a Restoration Shaman has for both Enhance and LA. Unfortunately, they haven't done so far, and I think it's pretty bad. I don't like it, but it is what it is. Every single talent tree so far, for any spec, I mean hero talent tree, has gotten a few extra nodes. Now, unfortunately, for Farseer, I don't quite like the nodes that you'll be seeing right now. I think they pretty much butchered Farseer quite a bit, especially seeing how Stormkeeper now is going to be triggering the Ancestors. If you remember, this was triggered by Primordial Wave. Now Primordial Wave was deleted. Well, you're not going to say no more, but now you're going to be replaced by having Stormkeeper. Once again, I don't like this at all. I think genuinely, currently Farseer feels very clunky and out of position, but I hope in the near future they focus on it and perhaps give us more power. There's one cool talent, however, is that your intellect is increased by 1% every single time you have Ancestor up, which pretty much is going to make this talent here very lucrative, right? Making having a chance spawn that Ancestor, which gives you 1% intellect. Beautiful. Storm Meaning also has its 3 new talents. As you can see here, Casting Ascendance gives you Tempest, Nature Damage increased by 2%, which is, again, nature damages your chain lighting, overloads, tempest, etc. And then Southern Lane to last 2 seconds longer, and Stormkeeper generates 2 extra Maelstrom. Not so great, right? Let's talk about the general changes done to the Ele Shaman only spec, which I think is the biggest change for Ele Shaman. First of all, the major rework is focusing on giving you more sustained damage. Now, this sustained damage is also supported by the Apex talents. If you take a look on Apex talents, Elemental Overload damage is increased by 35%. That is your Apex talents, which is the new feature at Midnight, having 4 extra talent points at the end of the tree, dedicated specifically to those talents. Every single spec has one. And if you remember from the War Within, your overloads are a huge part of your damage. Like probably like around 25 to 30% of your damage counts overloads, maybe 25, okay? Again, from the War Within. Could be less, it could be more, it all depends on the dungeon type. Spell critical strike chance increased by 10%, and Elemental Fury increased spell critical strike damage by additional 50%. For the people that don't know what Elemental Fury is, write this one. Which is very valuable. That's why crit can be very valuable in Mass AoE for Ele Shaman. Last but not least, Elemental Overloads have 25% chance to cause additional overload. Now, what that means is you get even more passive damage and even more Maelstrom gen, which again would be a very lucrative thing for you. However, several talents removed. DRE does not exist anymore. They removed DRE, which is very sad. I know people have been loving to play around DRE. Now you only have one cooldown, Ascendance. That's it. Nothing else. Now, they also removed Storm Elemental. You only have Lightning Ele. Again, Storm Ele used to give you nice haste on demand, which fitted very good with your Ascendance together. Unfortunately, they thought it was way too good. They removed it, and now we're stuck with having Fire Ele, which is absolutely useless. Absolutely useless. I feel like, well, at least they made the Elemental 2 minutes, which is something. Speaking about 2 minutes, Ele is still the only spec in the game that has a 3-minute cooldown baseline instead of 2 minutes. And I was hoping to see this Ascendance being 2 minutes, and instead both these talent nodes to be baked inside Ascendance to allow yourself to have a lot more variety. Now, in the current state of the game, the way it looks, it's very difficult to pad into all the important choices, because I feel like you're going to be sacrificing a lot of AoE to go single target and vice versa, which might not make you as flexible compared to the season. However, they've also added a few new talents that I'm going to show you right now. The first one is called Voltic Blaze, which I think is absolutely dogshit undertuned right now. It's probably going to get buffed quite a bit, but they want to replicate what Primordial Wave and Splintered Elements combo was, okay? I'm going to show you right now. Pretty much applies Flame Shock up to 6 enemies. Yeah, 6 enemies, and then the next lava burst that you're going to cast is going to be like DRE proc. See that? Like that. So there's several talents to lower the cooldown of it, do more damage, this and that, but every single time that you cast Voltic Blaze, you're gonna apply Flame Shock, and the next Lava Burst, Lava Surge is also gonna hit all the targets with your Flame Shock. Which the main idea behind this is they wanna make sure that you wave in lava spells and lightning spells at the same time, so it's a lot more visually pleasing to play. However, I feel like in the current state of Voltic Blaze, it's so undertuned that it's not even worth pressing at this point. Maybe they will tune it better in the future. Now, the talents that I'm playing right now are just, I YOLO'd them before the video, so don't look at them. Yeah. Icefury now is gone. You will not be able to use Icefury. It's now gonna be replaced by nothing. Just more haste. That's it. Now, part of the Maelstrom is still here, and it's been pretty much roughly the same. However, it's gonna have less chance to trigger, and also Fusion of Elements got completely reworked now to work with your Power of the Maelstrom, which again, it naturally gets to be consumed because Power of the Maelstrom is pretty much consumed on cooldown because you'll be casting Lightning Bolt on cooldown too, which again, it's only beneficial really to like single target. That's why it's not really something that I'll spend points on Mythic Plus in the current state. However, you never know how they will balance the game later on. One of my favorite talents, Hero to the Storm, now is nerfed. Previously, Hero to the Storm was likely one of the few things on Ele-Shaman that you can min-max, farm CDR, get extra Stormkeepers. Now, it gives you flat 15 seconds CDR on Stormkeeper, which I think is absolutely useless compared to this option here. It gives you Elemental for like 12 seconds, I guess 10 seconds, but if you play Everlasting Elements 12 seconds, and during this time, if you're playing Elemental Unity, you'll be getting more damage anyway. So, yeah, no more using Stormkeeper twice per pool, and now Stormkeeper is actually going to be an actual minor cooldown. Because once you cast it, you're going to see yourself also getting the extra Elemental, which again will add a bit more damage onto your rotation. I think there's several useless talents so far that I think they have no place inside the tree, and I hope to see them being removed, but currently Ele has a lot of good talents and not enough points. Like, for example, this shit here, Coal-Fire, is look at the talent right now. Just read the talent. Ascendance summons Fire Elemental when used. Okay, and then that's it. So that 1 point, I gotta spend it to play my Premonitions, which is haste during Ascendance or shorter Ascendance. Right, that's 1 point, which I think it's absolutely dog shit. It doesn't refund the cooldown of your Elemental. It's like a macro, you know, there's a macro to summon your Elemental and Ascendance. That's what it does. I gotta spend, like, look at this. I gotta spend 1 point to make sure that I you know, have this ability. So every time I cast my Ascendance now, my Fire Ele is gonna go off when cooldown. Where's my... Oh, okay, so because I use this point, my Fire Elemental separate keybind is now removed. I can't use it anymore, you know? So look at this. If I don't have this talent point, let's say I'm playing something else, I'm gonna have a separate keybind fire elemental. But because I'm playing this point, it kind of replicates. Wait, where's the fire elemental? Oh, it's bugged out. Never mind, it's gone. Interesting. Yeah. Well, it's even bugged. I can't even show you right now, but I think the whole idea behind this is that you gain one extra elemental, which is obviously a cool thing. But if that's not the case, then yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much the biggest changes for elemental so far. I think in the grand scheme of things, it definitely looks, in my opinion, much easier than what you are playing in the World Within. However, I feel like there's a lot of problems right now with the spec, especially without having weak auras. I feel like it's yet incomplete and a lot of things to be added in the future. I think Voltic Blaze is in a very weird position, if I gotta be honest with you. I honestly think it's likely gonna get reworked or at least buffed to the point where we're gonna be using it. But I'm not really against the idea of wasting lava bursts into my rotation. However, once again, I feel like in order for me to do that, they need to give me something else as a benefit from using lava burst during, you know, cooldowns. Because why would I press lava burst during ascendance when one chain lighting, especially if it overloads, is gonna do like 5 times more damage than lava burst, even if I have Voltic Blaze, you know? So things like this are counterintuitive in my opinion. Anyway, what do you guys think about the spec? I will be reporting on every single specs in a game in the following days. Ele is the first one because it's my main. I'll make a video about TLDR each of the changes done to the specs for all range, all melees, which one got a good rework, which one got a bad rework, etc. So make sure to follow the channel. And thank you for watching. I'll see you on stream, and happy testing. Beta arrives in 9 days. Mythic Plus opens in 16 days from now. So definitely uninteresting times ahead of us. Peace out.